So now let's go remove our OEM head unit. First, pull on the edges of the OEM head unit's outside panel and it'll pop off. Next, using a plastic trim removal tool, go around the silver edges of the HVAC panel and pry it upwards until you get enough leverage to pop it out. It's only difficult if you're doing this one-handed like me. Once all the clips have been released, simply pull it out and undo the connection in the back. Now to remove the vent and hazard switch panel, use both hands and pull it out by gripping the corners. Again, it's hard to do one-handed while filming, but it's easy on your own. And just like before, undo the connection at the back and set the unit aside. Now to remove the OEM radio, we need to remove 4 10mm screws that secure the unit to the car. They sit sort of underneath the radio, as you can see in the video. Once the 4 screws are removed, carefully pull the OEM unit out of the dashboard and gently remove the connections on the back. These connectors can be pretty tight and they are fragile, so take your time. With the OEM radio removed, now we need to pull the OEM housing off. Simply pull on the bottom sides and it'll pop out. Next, on the passenger side of the vehicle, use a trim tool and pop out this side panel. Now back to the dashboard panel, remove this small Phillips head screw and put it someplace safe so we can then remove this entire trim panel. Once the screw is removed, this entire panel will pop out just like the others. Start with the exposed edges and work your way around. If it's never been removed before, it may take some extra force. Now, we are going to remove the glove box. Open it up and pull off this retaining rod on the side. Then, with both hands, push the sides inward and push the glove box down and it should just pop out. With the glove box removed, we now have space to run the USB adapter for the new radio, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Now it's time to connect the main adapter harness for the new head unit to the OEM harness. The best way to figure out which connector goes where is to look at the metal pins on the aftermarket harness and find the OEM plug that has matching slots for the pins. If you look closely at the picture, the bottom pins on the aftermarket harness will match up with the OEM plug. Not every pin is used necessarily, but a matching set is a good indication. Now we'll start plugging in the accessory cables. This is the USB adapter cable. Match the gray to gray. Then, on the USB extension cable, the connection labeled phone link will plug into the adapter cable that goes into the OEM plug. Then, route the other end of the USB cable behind the dashboard and into the area behind where the glove box sits. Now we need to remove the housing from the new head unit. Push down on both sides of the housing and then it will slide off. Then, we need to transfer over these red clips from the OEM housing to the new head unit housing. Gently pry them off and slide them onto the new housing tabs as shown. Now insert the vent trim panel back into the car and remember to plug back in the hazard switch. Then insert the new radio housing into the dashboard above the vent trim. After that, we'll reinstall the main dashboard trim panel. Like the other panels, just firmly pop it back into place and remember to reinstall that screw to firmly secure it. Reinstall that side passenger panel by the door on too. Next, reinstall the HVAC trim and remember to reconnect the plug in the back first. Then, look around the edges and ensure it is sitting flush and secure. Now to ensure your OEM backup camera works, plug the cam in RCA to the cam VIN RCA on the main aftermarket harness. With the new radio resting on the shift knob, verify all your connections are firmly seated. In my case, I did not hook up the GPS or SIM card cables as I plan on using wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay for my phone. You will need the Wi-Fi antenna installed and make sure it's firmly tightened down to avoid becoming loose and causing a poor connection. Then begin sliding the new head unit into its housing while carefully pushing the excess wiring down into the dashboard. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but it will fit fine. Make sure you secure the radio to the trim panel by pushing it up and then down so it clicks into place. That's it.